Hello. So I want to show you like a close-up look of the dress. I'm using my selfie camera. I hope this comes out really great, the video. So this is like a princess that, and while this one here it's a bustier. So here we go. This is the back. I think the back needs a little bit adjustment here, so I'll do that later. Yeah, we can see it's very sexy. This is how I styled it for my daily time look. It's nice, but I'm still gonna adjust this place. Like, I don't know, it's giving me a headache. I'm gonna adjust this side. So this is really nice wearing. I happen to like have a similar color to the dress. The fabric, wow, so thick. I'll be making this style again. I'll be making this style with a lighter stretchy fabric. You need a stretchy fabric for this. The zipper is just on the bum, so you know it's not going to fit well. So if you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button below and also turn on post notification. I'll be posting every week. I have new sewing ideas, new sewing project that I would like to do, so we can do that together. Now we're going to start with the pattern making. I'm going to be using an A4 paper. I don't have an official video where I made a pattern for the dress, so I'm going to be using an A4 paper to give you an illustration on how you can achieve this look. Also, what else? Okay, so we will get into the pattern first, then we'll get into the sewing tutorial. Let's get right into the tutorial. This was the pattern I used for my dress. I'll be using an A4 paper to show you an illustration on how to achieve yours. Get your dress block pattern. You have to draft your dress block pattern in fold so you can spread it out. I have labeled my right, left because of the structure of the dress we're making. So we're going to add a few vertical measurements. That's the bust point and the underbust. I showed out the bust point is 10.5 inches. Sometimes I use 11 inches. While my shoulder to underbust is 14 inches. So you go ahead and mark that and label that. Okay, now we'll have to get the bust distance. That's your nipple to nipple measurement. Mine is usually 4 inches, so I'm going to rule that out. Don't forget I'm using, this is an illustration, this is not done on my main pattern, so you put that also in consideration. So you go ahead and mark that. Now we're going to focus on the right side. You get your armhole measurement, the full armhole measurement. Once you get that, just like that, you curve your tape until you get the measurement. Once you get that, you divide by 2. Then you place your tape measure on the slant down to mark the half measurement. What I did here, connecting the point, was wrong. We're supposed to go up on the bust point. You're supposed to go up 1 inch before connecting the point as the center of the armhole, just like this. This is the proper thing to do. Then you go on both sides, half an inch. You can decide to go 1 inch, but whatever that you take out, you add to that side. If it's half inch, you add half inch there, or 1 inch, you add 1 inch. Then you connect to the armhole, just like this. So now we're going to create our waist start. I'll be using 1 inch, then go up 4 or 5 inches. It's based on preference So I used 5 inches up and 5 inches down on both the waist and for the hip side. So you create your curve, ensure that it's well curved. So what you now will start adding our horizontal measurement. So whatever you take out for the dart on the armhole, you add to the armhole depth. Whatever measurement you take out for the waist, you add once you mark out your waist, just like we did on the basic dress block. So right now we'll go to the left side. We'll get the center measurement of our shoulder. Then you connect the point just like this. Okay, you can go 1 inch on both sides, or half an inch on both sides. Then you go up on the bust 1 inch just like we did on the right side, then connect your dart. We're going to return the allowance, that allowance taken from the shoulder. We're going to return it by extending the shoulder. See, yeah, we're going to extend the shoulder, return the 1 inch taking or 2 inches taking. Then you create your curve just like you did for your armhole. You create your armhole curve. As you can see, I've created a new armhole. Now we're going to get our waist measurement just like we did the other side. It's just the same thing. You're going to get your waist measurement. Then you're going to get your horizontal measurement, your waist plus the dart allowance, and you connect everything together. Now we're going to get the bottom part of our skirt or our dress, which is like a pencil. So I like to use my waist measurement and go out like 1 inch out or 2 inches out, so I can be able to walk. And meanwhile, we're going to be using a slit. So you just connect and you cut out your bottom part. You set the bottom part pattern outside. We'll focus on the top of the dress. The top of the dress is like a monostrap and the side was a bit exposed. Mine wasn't exposed because I tweaked it to something desirable for me. So now we would go get the center of your shoulder. You go down 2 inches, you can go down 3 inches, that's based on your preference. Then you go down on the side, the right side, 1 inch, and you connect the point. On the right side under the bust, you go up 1 inch, you go in 1 inch, then you connect. Then for the down part, you can, after the dart, you can just go in, you can go out 1 inch, then you connect to the on the bust just like this. This is the pattern. You can see we don't need the rest of whatever we drafted. It's just, but we have to do that in order to get that pattern. So now our front is done. We'll set that outside and get ready for the back pattern. We are going to do a little bit of tracing to get the back pattern, especially for the skirt part. So now we're going to cut out the block, just the block of the top part. Then our next step is to get that on the skirt of the back pattern. So what you did for the front, you just do the same that for the down, like so. Yeah, you trace out your dart. Then you can use the skirt part of the front to get the shape of the back pattern, just like this. You just get the shape. Okay, we'll cut out the skirt part of the pattern. Then you get a new pattern paper to create your zip allowance. You add 1 inch, 1.5 inch, depending on how the space you need for your zip allowance. Then you label that so you don't mix that up. That is it. It's easy to get your back pattern using your front pattern. At the left side of your front pattern, you trace down the shape of the front pattern. Then you go where the dart starts, you create a mark, then you connect it to the center of the dress, then connect down, mark half an inch, then connect that half an inch for the strap space, then you cut out your back and label it back. You can use your block to determine the length of your strap. Now we'll cut out our pattern just the way I did. You cut out every side of your pattern, as you can see. So here is my pattern, all done and dusted. Now we'll get into the sewing tutorial. So these are the material you'll be needing. I have cut my fabric. You should do so by using the pattern we just created to cut your fabric. I'll be doing less of talking and more of you watching. So now we're going to sew our front part of the top part of the dress. I like to pin down my fabric before I sew, just for easy sewing. Now we're going to be making the front side too. I forgot to tell you that we're going to be cutting the top front too. That's for the facing, for the main and for the facing. So you pin and you sew. Ensure that they are equally placed. I'm trying to like get the exact placement. Then you sew. See, just like this. Now here is my fabric. I have sewed the both sides of facing and the main top. So the next step is to sew our strap. Now you pin your strap, then you sew your strap. I like to use a needle to turn my strap over. You cut out the excess, then you use your needle or whatever method you can use to turn your strap over. I like to sew the ends, then pass my needle inside the strap, then try to turn it over the other side. You have to be very careful lest you snap your thread, and you have to like repeat the process over and over again. So here we go. This is what I have done so far. Here we go. You can iron that immediately, or you just go ahead and keep sewing. So now you put your strap on the top parts, that's the monostrap parts of the dress, and the side, leaving like half an inch on the bottom side. You put it facing inside. Your strap has to face, it has to be inside the dress, just like this. I hope you can see this. Has to be inside. Then you pin just to hold them together. For the top part, it has to be exactly on the point. While for the bottom side, it has to be like inside, leaving at least half inch space. See what I've done? Leave like half inch space. Here we go. You're going to sew the top part, the down part. You leave the side and the joining on the down part. So this is it here. So you leave space to connect the top to the skirt and also the side. So here we go. You trim the excess to make so when you turn it will be smooth on the edges. We have to also sew the top part of the top to ensure that it's to ensure that the facing doesn't budge out to the other side. So see what I'm doing here. So here we go. This is it here. I've gone ahead to iron my top so I can see my sewing lines and to make them smoother. We're going to sew the dart on our front skirt, then attach the top to the front skirt. I left 1 inch space on the skirt, just like that, before left 1 inch space before attaching my top. The reason I did so is we are going to fold the skirt part of the dress after sewing the top on the skirt. We're going to fold, that's the waist part. You can do it 2 ways. You can either fold and sew, or just fold and leave it like that smoothly. I just want it to be smooth. I just want to fold it, and that is all, and hand stitch it. So this is it here. You sew, and the skirt you iron, just like that. You press it to make it stay. So I'll be using an invisible zip and a zip, and I'm using a zip footer. So this is my zip. As you can see, it's not my fabric color. I made this dress like in a day, within the space of 7 hours. So there was no time for me to rush out to get a zipper. So I only got something that is relatively close to the color. So here we go. So you sew your zipper, then you sew all the way down, leaving the slit space, just like this. I left the slit space just like that. Now we'll focus on the back. You sew your back, the side, just like this, but leaving the space for the strap. You attach your back to the skirt of the back, just like that, leaving also 1 inch space up. So now you're done with the sewing. We have to insert our strap into the back. I pinned and I tried on my dress just to mark the length where the strap will stop. I already created like a mark on my strap, so I know the length of my strap on both sides. So you can go ahead, pin down your dress, try it on so you don't leave excess strap. So pin it down and try it on in front of the mirror, then see if the strap is the length of the strap is okay for you before you continue sewing. So you pass your strap from the front to the back, just like this. So if you look closely, you see the mark I already created. Like you can see the red pen, the mark I created on my strap to know where to stop and pin. And also so it's advisable you wear yours and try to mark the length before you sew. So you can see I'm kind of struggling with this to place it well. Yeah, so I think I finally got it. So you pin, then you sew. Yeah, I have to double pin. Okay, see, this is how it will look. Yep. Then use front stitch, back stitch, front stitch, back stitch, hold it together, cut out the excess round the back piece, just like so. I have gone ahead to sew one side of my dress. As you can see, Now we'll have to sew the other side of the dress. So go ahead and sew your back dart. Yeah, so this is it, and you hem the bottom of your dress. Mine is not equal, but I made it equal while sewing. So this is the final look. I didn't weep because my personal dress, and I was in a hurry to just wear and leave the house. So here we go, the final look of the dress. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also turn on your post notification. See you in my next tutorial. Bye bye.